Am I the a-hole for turning away a young child for my son's birthday who bullies him? Excuse the title. I figured blunt was the best method here. My son just turned 8. We had a birthday party for him Saturday. He invited some friends from class including Kyle. I did not know Kyle was cousins with this other boy in their class, Josh, but Josh has been horrible to my son for a while now. The poor kid has gone through a lot. His baby sister died, then his dad leaves him and his mom. My son has a baby brother, and he has both me and my husband, his dad, still in one home. So he has become a target for Josh's hurt and anger. It started off when they went to virtual learning last September. My son would say things about Josh. I spoke to the teacher and she said she was doing everything to correct Josh and protect my son. And then in May, their school decided to test out going back to in-person learning all day. While there, Josh was nasty to my son and made the entire month a living hell for my son, and I was on the school's ass about it. I put in for a class transfer but was denied because they were dealing with it. When they returned to school a few weeks ago, Josh was still targeting my son. So anyway, Kyle's mom showed up to the party Saturday with Josh. I was confused and asked what was going on. She explained he was her nephew, etc., etc., and she was hoping it would help everyone if he was included since everything going on. I said no way, that he was not invited, and given the way he treats my son, he was not coming in. She argued with me, but I stood firm. She and I got along well before this, which is why her being his aunt shocked me, because you would expect it to come up when she knew about the situation. But now she's saying I was an a-hole to a little boy, and should have known kindness and understanding. My son freaked out when he saw Josh at our house and asked if he was staying, and he was so relieved he wasn't. Am I the a-hole here? I feel bad for the kid, but feel my only loyalty is to my son. Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. For starters, it was very presumptuous of her to show up with a +1 when she was not given a +1. She also put you in a position where you needed to choose to turn away a kid who is having a hard time, or force your son to put up with his tormentor in his own home. Neither choice is going to be the right one, and the onus is on her for forcing that on you. This is the best way I've ever seen this written. Excellent, thought-out response. I hope you're not the a-hole. I'm sorry everyone was even put in this position to begin with. It wasn't helping anything. Accepting the child into the party would teach him that actions don't have consequences, and refusing him just adds fuel to the fire. This was a no-win situation that you were forced into. Not the a-hole, but get the police involved instead of the school. You'll see results faster. Would that work? Surely with such young children their hands are tied, figuratively. Not an expert on this at all, hence why I'm asking. Not with the type of torment my son deals with. Varies a lot depending on where you are. I don't think you are the a-hole for saying no, but I think it's a missed opportunity. Turning him away put a bigger target on your son's back, although showing up on your door with him was a jerk move from the aunt. Including him would have given you the opportunity to see their interactions and see if this relationship could be salvaged. Plus, you're there to monitor if things don't go well. I've had my son invite kids who were horrible to him over to our house, helped them find some common ground and got them to be friends. No more bullying. This kid is obviously going through a lot in his life and is handling it how kids do, by acting like an a-hole. Extending him some kindness will go further in this case. I have to disagree. It's his son's home. His home should be a safe space. He was freaking out when Josh showed up, and if Opie had let Josh stay seeing her son in distress, we would have jumped down her throat for refusing to protect her child at his home. Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for airing dirty laundry at a family party? I cut my mom out of my life last year. Our relationship was broken beyond repair years ago. The short story is she and my dad broke up when I was a baby. When I was 2, my dad was diagnosed with cancer, and he fought to stay alive and survived until 2 months before my 7th birthday. My mom resented the hell out of him. She said he should have let go so I could have loved another man as dad and not be weighed down by my love for him. The first time she said it, I was 10, and her husband told her that I had told him I didn't want or love him, and he would never be my dad. She did not like hearing that, and ranted to me about how selfish my dad was, and said that he destroyed both our lives. Because it meant she always had to watch me suffer, and push away a man who would be a wonderful father if I allowed it. She said it 7 more times after, and I remember each one. Her saying that is the reason I'm done with her. My aunt's birthday was 3 weeks ago. I showed up for my aunt and avoided my mom, but she sought me out, asked me if we could talk, and I said no. She told me she deserved more than I gave her, that her husband deserved more than I gave him, that they were my parents and I was treating them like strangers. I just told her to buzz off. Things escalated and I ended up telling a room full of people that I would never forgive her for calling my dad selfish for wanting to be with me, to survive long enough for me to remember him. I told her my life would have been better with him than with her, and that I had no desire to reconcile, so she needed to just leave me alone and forget I existed. I apologized to my aunt for the outburst, but she understood. My mom tried to follow me afterward, and said I made a scene at someone else's party and it was a childish way to behave. My uncle, married to aunt, was also pissed that I was so vocal. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. If your mom is so disturbed by people knowing what she said, it's because she knows it's messed up. Also, you apologized to your aunt. That is not like you planned it. So you're in the clear to me, even if her husband is upset. But that's out of love if it makes sense. Not the a-hole. Yeah, it was mom who caused a scene here. Opie was just nailing the coffin on it. Not the a-hole. If anything, you actively tried to avoid a scene. And it sounds like your mom pursued you until she got one. Sounds kind of like an intentional manipulation of the situation on her part so that the family would take sides. Yes, mom figured he has to talk to me now. And what's he going to do about it? Well, she found out. Good for Opie. Everyone sucks here. Let me be clear that I don't think you're to blame for your relationship with your mom. And from what you've said, I think your feelings are completely justified. Your mother said some really harsh things, and she's really making it about her. She's the one being selfish. That said, maybe you picked the wrong venue to unleash on her, because you essentially made a birthday party about you. And also, you're the one who had to do damage control. Mom followed Opie around though. How is being badgered and not having backup Opie's fault? Next story. Am I the a-hole for siding with my stepdaughter's dad against my wife and exposing her lie? I, male 37, have been married to my wife Regina for 3 years. And I have a 16-year-old stepdaughter named Becky. She's the loveliest and has the most generous heart. Her dad, Regina's ex-husband, Brandon, is a nice dude, and we get along just fine due to the fact that we see each other often, and also because Becky joins us for activities which is always exciting. However, Regina just hates Brandon and always pushes me to have bigger involvement in Becky's life than him, which is illogical since he's her dad before I came along, but that doesn't mean I'm not doing my best to be a father figure to her. So, Becky's sweet 16th birthday was days ago. Brandon couldn't attend due to work, but he came over and gave Regina the gift he brought for Becky, which was an expensive bracelet, and asked her to hold on to it till Becky's birthday party to give it to her, and say it was from her dad. Regina said okay, and he left. I was sitting nearby when they had this conversation. Regina then said she was planning on telling Becky that the bracelet her dad got her was from her. I said no, that's wrong. And it's fair to Brandon and Becky if she ever finds out that Regina lied about the bracelet being bought by her. She said she won't find out, but I firmly stated if she tried this, I'll shut her down and tell Becky the truth. She gave me an I dare you look and went about her day. The party came, and when Becky started opening gifts, Regina handed her the bracelet and told her she bought it for her. I was shocked, as I didn't think she'd actually go through with her plan. Becky then asked about her dad's gift, and I flat out told her he already sent her this bracelet, and that her mom lied about buying it when it was Brandon who bought it. My in-laws and Becky's friends were stunned. Becky asked Regina to confirm, but Regina lashed out at me and denied till I showed them the receipt that came with the box, and it was under Brandon's name. Regina threw it, but I retrieved it from the trash. Becky started arguing with Regina and left the room crying, and the party was pretty much over. I literally got yelled at by Regina and her parents, calling me awful for causing drama and accusing Regina of theft and exposing her in front of Becky and her friends. Regina guilted me for not playing along and siding with Brandon against her, and she told me to stop advocating for this guy like we were buddies. I said poor guy did nothing wrong and did deserve to be alienated from his daughter. Becky hasn't spoken to Regina ever since. It is waiting for her dad to come to visit, and Regina isn't talking to me, but me and Becky are good. Am I the a-hole? Did I mess up? Time to answer some questions / add more information. 1. Regina says my friendship with Brandon is weird. It always seemed to be looking for a reason to start an argument between me and him. But he's a good guy. 2. My sister-in-law told me this rivalry Regina has started when Brandon's now wife came into the picture. But most fights are between Regina and Brandon, not his wife. 3. The reason for Regina and Brandon's divorces, according to Regina, is about infidelity on Brandon's part. Not sure about this, but it's what I've been told by her in-laws. Not a-hole. After reading this, I seriously question why you would be with someone like Regina. If I were OP, I would definitely be doubting Regina's accounts for her past marriage, their reasons for their divorce, and pretty much everything else she told him. Not a-hole. Regina is. She will never find out. Does she think Brandon will never ask Becky if she liked the bracelet he got her? Your wife is a piece of work. This is a good question. But because Regina's lied about stuff in the past, she was probably counting on he said versus she said type of scenario to make Brandon out to be a liar. I've seen the scenario play out several times before, and I know how it ends. You're the a-hole, because you could have solved this before it became a problem. I know you wanted to give your wife the benefit of the doubt, but from your other replies, you have known for a while now that Regina will make up lies about Brandon. You knew she was going to lie, and she told you she was going to lie. By letting the situation play out, you exposed to Becky's friends to the fact that her own mother would lie to her face. She must be so embarrassed that they know that. And while she doesn't blame you, you could have quietly called Brandon and said, "Look, Regina's planning on taking credit for your gift." Call Regina. Say you changed your mind and give it to her before the party while in FaceTime or Zoom or something. Then he gets credit. And no dirty laundry is aired out publicly and there's no issues with you and your wife. The kid is old enough to see what her mother is capable of. It was a hard moment for sure, but she saw who her mother is. He could have waited until after the party to tell the truth and minimize the impact on the party. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for unloading in therapy in front of my younger half-siblings? Me, my dad's wife, his wife's sons, and their 3 kids together are all in family therapy. I'm 17 female. My dad decided family therapy was the way to go because I refused to integrate into the family when I moved here 2 years ago following my mom's death. My dad moved away from me after he and my mom decided to divorce for good. They were on and off until I was 5, and then he just up and moved away one day. The next time I saw him, which was 5 months later, he was living with his wife. Her sons are a year older and younger than me respectively, and they thought it would be great, and that it would be so easy to make a family out of kids as young as us. But I was bitter. My dad was gone. He used to show up to pick me up from school on Fridays, and he would take me to computer coding for kids. And then he was gone. I saw him a few weeks every year, and he called, but it never sat right with me that he left me for them, or even that he left to escape my mom. He could have lived closer, 1 or 2 hours. Instead, he moved 32 hours away. Dad always knew I resented him, and he would tell me not to. We fought a few times because I didn't make the effort to bond with the boys, or then his kids with his wife. And when she tried to get close to me, I would tell her I was there to see my dad, and not her. I told him he should move back if he wanted things to get better. Then my mom died unexpectedly. She had struggled with some issues for a while, but I thought things were okay. So he moved me out to him, and told me it was our chance to get our relationship back on track. But I held it all in, all the anger and bitterness. They started therapy almost 2 years ago, but I didn't want to be there, not with them. Then last week it all came out. The therapist told me that if I wanted to leave, I should wait outside. Dad told me to sit down and take part because that's what they were all there for, to make our family work. And I snapped. I unloaded every single thing that session. 40 minutes of me saying how much I hated my dad for leaving, how this wasn't my family, that I didn't care about his kids, stepkids, or wife, that it was about him and me. And when he left me behind for them, he sealed the fact I would never want a single thing to do with whatever family made after leaving me. It was intense. I cried. I raged. And when it was over, I was piled on by my dad, his wife, and her oldest son for saying all that in front of the younger kids. Then my dad told the therapist we weren't going back because he didn't have a freaking clue what he was doing. These last few days, he has been different. All attempts to bond are gone, and now he's just furious I said all that in front of 3 kids under the age of 10. And his wife goes between mad and hurt that I don't care about her, even though she tried to be a family member to me. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. That is what therapy is for. He forced you to participate, which you did. It does sound like you have a lot of stuff to work out, though. Are you going to therapy on your own? You might benefit a lot from that. No, I'm not. He didn't want me to work on solo therapy and give nothing to family. I'll look into therapy once I'm out on my own. That way, can't decide anything about it. It'll be all on me. Maybe after this last family therapy session, he has evolved on the individual therapy front. You should ask. He's done trying now, I think. Hearing exactly how I feel, I think we'll be writing it out until I leave, which is exactly what I want. Not stay home. That's what he wanted when he brought you to therapy. It was a bad idea to have a huge group of people in a therapy session like that. You need to talk to a therapist one-on-one, and your therapist should have arranged that. You should see if you can go back to therapy on your own. The therapist did make the suggestion a couple of times, but my dad was never on board. He didn't want me putting effort into solo therapy and giving nothing to the group still. I am going to disagree with pretty much everyone here. OP, you're the a-hole. However, your dad and stepmother, to a lesser extent, are also the a-holes. You have admitted that you have no desire to improve your relationships. This is childish and immature. You are 17, not 12. I absolutely believe that you lashed out in therapy to punish your father. You wanted to hurt your stepmom and siblings to punish your father. This is not okay. I'm not saying your feelings are not justified. I am saying you are hurting everyone around you to hurt your father. And in the end, you will be the one regretting it. At least they can all say they tried. You will never have to say that because you never will try. You are so mad at your father that you have gone Armageddon on your entire family and you are proud of it. Be mad at your father forever. But at your age, you need to take responsibility for your own actions. And your behavior towards the rest of your family is atrocious. You do not have to have a relationship with them if you do not want to. However, using your very young siblings as pawns to hurt your dad is disgusting. You do not get to blame your father for that. It is on you, and you will have to live with the consequences. It is time to grow up.